The threat of rain at the end of qualifying forced several drivers to complete their final flying laps early to conserve fuel for the race. So when Alonso and Heidfeld were on their flying laps in the closing seconds, they encountered slow McLarens on the racing line, which hampered their final quick runs.
Hi, I'm Nick Heidfeld and I'm going to take you on a lap in Malaysia. Shift up to 7th gear, reach nearly 300 kph and then braking after the 100 meter board. On the left hand side you can see the curb, which gives you a good indicator. There's a curb change, that was the braking point. And here's the second part, so the left hand corner is more important. You see that I stay quite far to the right to have a good exit here. First gear, quite some wheel spin there obviously this year without traction control. And then quite a lot of heavy traffic actually, which is not normal. You can see that I go offline here and then didn't manage the perfect line here, getting a bit wide there on the exit and lost a little bit of time. Lost unfortunately a couple of places. Nevertheless, next part here, one of the nicest corners actually in Formula 1 in 5th gear. Left and right hander, quite quick, traffic again, but this guy was offline, so no problem. This double right hander here is quite difficult because you tend to get a lot of understeer and can destroy your tires. Here's one of the lowest parts of the circuit, 1st gear. Traction crucial because it's uphill. This right hander is done flat. The next one done in 3rd gear, quite difficult because it's not straight line braking and turning, but you do everything at the same time. This next left-hander here is done flat, at least on lower fuel. In the race with old tires it might be a bit more of a problem. Then again a difficult corner here because you come from very high speed. A bit difficult to judge your braking places because you don't have good indicators. Then it's already back onto the back straight, very long, which should give you a good overtaking possibility here in the race. Down into 2nd gear, quite low grip there sometimes, quite difficult this corner, and then staying to the right hand side until the finish line.
A trouble-free day for Ferrari ensured their place on the front row, with Massa in the top spot for the 2nd year running. Trulli was 3rd, while the BMWs were 4th and 5th. Webber went better than expected, but penalties for impeding Alonso and Heidfeld left the McLarens 8th and 9th. For the 10th year, the lights went out and kicked off the Malaysian Grand Prix. Trulli was slow out of the box while the Ferraris made an excellent start. Heidfeld was on the attack, but contact with the Toyota lost Jarno more time and position, and left him in the clutches of the McLarens. Trulli was under huge pressure, and Hamilton got the better of him. Massa led Kimi, Kubica, Webber and Hamilton. Then there was a train of cars trying to find a way past Trulli. When Bourdais found himself on the dirty side of the track, he soon found himself spinning into the gravel. Starting 16th left Rosberg on the back foot, but this wasn't the time or the place. Timo retired and Nico needed to stop for repairs. Heidfeld's start-line battle with Trulli left him watching Coulthard and Alonso squabble over 8th. When Fernando made a move on David, Nick used the slipstream from both cars and stormed ahead. He left them to it, but Alonso and Coulthard were not done with each other yet. They used every piece of the 15-metre wide track. It was nip and tuck, but finally Alonso secured 9th place. Before the first round of stops, Massa led Raikkonen, but when Kimi pitted 1 lap later than his teammate, it was the Finn who came out on top. One lap later and Hamilton was in for his routine stop. He was up to 2nd after starting 9th. But there was a glitch with his right front wheel. Unbelievable luck. The mechanics struggled to remove it. The long stop cost him dear. 10 seconds and vital track position. After losing the lead to his teammate, the focus was on Massa, but he lost it. It was another retirement for Sebastian Vettel, but this time it was in more spectacular fashion. Blazing his own trail was Robert Kubica. At the final round of stops, he was leading the race. BMW set the standard for pit stop efficiency, ensuring Robert got back out third. F1 was proving just as tough as last year for Honda. At least Button made it back on track after this minor excursion. Kimi's drive was faultless. And it saw him take the 16th win of his career. Robert Kubica felt unwell all weekend, but soldiered on to score the second consecutive podium for BMW Sauber, his first podium since Italy 2006.
Okay, Robert, well done, P2, well done, very good pace, very good pace.
BMW's biggest haul of points yet secured their second place in the Constructors' Championship. Raikkonen put all thoughts of his Australian disappointment behind him and kicked off his bid to retain his title. Hamilton's setback cost him dear. Kovalainen was third but nearly 40 seconds behind the winner. Rosberg couldn't capitalise on his one-stop strategy, while Alonso just got into the points.
I started in Australia, we got 1 point, so we can make a massive difference on some point, and I mean, for sure this is what we expect more.
The team left Australia with huge concerns about reliability, but Ferrari soon got back on top. Two races with two different winners, but what was the impact of driving without traction control?
Every corner is tricky now without the traction control, because the car feels good, and then suddenly if you lose it, there's nothing what's gonna save you. Even if you don't react quick enough, you're gonna be off. So,
as a lot of people could testify. While Ferrari and McLaren had their ups and downs, BMW were finding success from their consistency.
We managed to finish twice in the podium. Pace-wise, I could finish also in Australia on the podium, so this will be second race where I'm there, so let's hope we continue in this direction.
Even before the penalties, McLaren were off the pace in Malaysia.
I don't think we should be downbeat about our pace. You know, we won last weekend in Australia. You know, with Lewis and myself. I made the fastest lap of the race. We were strong there. Things can just change very fast in Formula 1, and we just don't know what's going to happen in Bahrain. It's pretty interesting, really.